10 years ago, back in 2010, I had gotten into an abusive relationship, and finally I broke up with this girl. And I was scared to death because I had lost everything during the relationship. I had moved out of my home. I was living with housemates just like I currently am. And I moved into my office. They had given me my own office to work on my PhD. I had lost a good part of my life savings at that point, and I had lost a good part of my health as well. I was eating roadkill and fish out of Lake Ontario, and I was scared to death because, especially because I had lost my life savings, and I couldn't even go meet another girl as a result, and also I was unhealthy. And I remember thinking I would, quarantine inside of that office until everything kind of just until everything kind of just fizzled out. And so I moved into the office, and I remember the first weekend was especially terrifying. I had wanted to go to this coin show in downtown Rochester, and I didn't have a girl to take to the coin show. And I needed to go anyhow because I needed to recover some of the coins that I had lost when I was dating this girl. And somehow I found the courage to go to that coin show. I think what had happened was that it was a Sunday morning, and it was really sunny that day. And I remember thinking, if nothing else, I should just ride my bicycle to that coin show. My car wasn't working because I had obviously put off getting my car fixed when I was dating that girl. And I decided that it would be a nice bike ride anyhow. And so I went to that coin show. I was totally anticipating on not having all that good of a time. I had the best time of my life. And it made me realize that I could go out without the girl. And that was a big discovery for me at the time. I was 22 years old, and I just didn't know that you could go out during a weekend or go on vacation or even just go out to your favorite restaurant or go see a favorite movie without the girl. I really didn't notice that. I was 22 years old. And I grew up in the United States. That's just a very foreign concept here in the U.S. People will go out with just about anybody just to go out with somebody, right? So 10 years ago, I discovered that you can do all these fun things without the girl. About the only thing you can't do without the girl is to have biological children. I've since kind of came to that conclusion. Everything else you can do with the girl, you could do without. Okay, fast forward 10 years in 2020. A year ago today, I used to have a very compulsive eating disorder. I wouldn't say I ate too much, but I felt like I had lost control over my eating faculties. I would need to be doing something else. I would be behind on stuff. I would be driving, and I couldn't focus on my driving. I would get into road rage, or sometimes outright get into an accident, because I couldn't control my eating faculties, if you will. When I wanted to eat something, it was like I had lost control. Actually, earlier today, I teach at a university in Seattle. Right now, all of it is over Zoom. One of my students was trying to shove down his dinner while I was loading a program onto the computer to demonstrate something. And it just goes to show how I used to behave. It was a nice inspiration to see that because it made me see how far I had come. I tried not to judge him because that's how I used to be, and I was a lot older than what he is today, last year, right? But as I was watching that, I tried to hide my facial expression because in my mind I was thinking, oh my God, is that what I used to look like? And I was really terrified about changing my ways, not because of where I thought I was going to die or anything or feel uncomfortable or anything, but I just thought life wouldn't be able to go on. How am I going to go to my favorite vacation destinations? How am I going to teach without eating what I love to eat all the time? How am I going to to do anything else, right? And so earlier this year, as you guys can see, during Lent, right? This was just before the COVID-19 crisis. During Lent, I made it a resolution to try and fast as long as I could. I wasn't going to go the full 40 days. My inspiration was one of my former classmates was trying to quit smoking, and he was going to use that 40-day Lent period as kind of a trial period to see if he could stop smoking for 40 days, and then he would continue on. And so I started the fast at the beginning of Lent. And I was pleasantly surprised the second day because when I was still teaching at the classroom at the time, and I thought for sure this was going to be a make or break moment. Either I was going to do really well at the classroom that day or I was going to get fired from my job. I really thought that when I went to the classroom. And when I went to the classroom, I was pleasantly surprised. The first feeling I got was a feeling of peace. You know, I'm no longer being dragged down by my eating habits. I can actually teach. And I felt really good. And so at the turn of 2 decades, right, first in 2010 and now in 2020, it has made me realize that life can go on independently of, well, first the girl and now food, right? I'm really excited to see what happens in 2030. It seems like at the turn of every decade. A side note here, right now I'm once again doing all the fun things I love to do without the girl. One thing I've noticed is that how free I am from the fear of the girl. I didn't realize this, but when I was dating, I constantly had this background fear of whether or not I'm going to wake up and discover the girl's going to break up with me, right? Because that has happened before. And you don't realize how big of a background fear that is until you completely purge it out of your life. You know, every day when I wake up, it's what do I want to do today? And I've never broken up with myself, right? I've come close twice, but I've never broken up with myself. And that's a really good feeling to wake up without this background fear in the back of your mind. Thanks for watching.